everybody, this is Raul for Bass Musician Magazine, and today we have the extraordinary honor of chatting with founding member and bassist for Skinflint, Kebonye Nkloso. Yay!
Yeah, thank you, Raul, for having me. It's an honor to be part of your podcast. I hope it goes well. I mean, it's one of the opportunities that we are always looking up for to get an interview.
Nice. Well, we're very excited to have this opportunity to chat, and there's so much to talk about, but let's go all the way to the past. How did you get started in music and particularly on bass?
Hey, my journey with music started when I was 17 years old. I was still at high school. We had this little school band. So the school band had only drum sets and keyboards, and there was only one bass guitar. The bass guitar was for the teacher only.
Oh,
So we played drums around, playing keyboards around. But I think it was a good opportunity because that's my first exposure to music, like to play music. Like I always had that desire to play music. I would make some small instruments with broken, with some other improvisation, like try to make guitars. But when I got that opportunity, I learned a little bit of drums, played here and there. I moved to the keyboards, play here and there, but all of this was like self-taught. I was like teaching myself. I didn't go to a formal music school.
okay.
Time went on. I moved to the university. That's when I could afford to buy myself a guitar. So I bought myself an acoustic guitar. Then I started playing the cover songs slowly in my room, playing simple rhythms there, here and there. And then I met one guy one day. Then we started a small band in the college or in the university where we were playing a bit of rock music. So because I could play a rhythm guitar, then that guy was playing a rhythm guitar already. And there was nobody to play the bass. Then I picked up the bass and I started playing single notes here and there. That's where it started for me to play the bass. Then I played it for quite some time. And also remember it was also self-taught. And then after like 2, 3, 4 months, that's when we were given an opportunity by a rock band called Nose Road. They invited us, that little band of ours, we invited to play with them. They are the legends of rock in Botswana, and also is the father to our lead vocalist. They invited us to play with them in a certain town outside Gaborone, our capital city. And that's when I met Giuseppe there. We met, started talking. 2, 3 months down the line, I got a call. Skinflint was looking for a bassist.
Nice.
And mind you, at that time, Skinflint was also at its infant stage. They were about a couple of months also into playing because it was Juice and his cousin by then, Sandra. If you remember, if you look back, you see some of the videos where we had a lady playing drums for us. So she is one of the founding members of Skinflint. She is the cousin to Giuseppe. So I got a call, and I couldn't resist.
Yes.
By then, it was like an upgrade, like moving from your college band going to Skinflint. They be introduced to the studio. It was like a promising. Like you have achieved your dream very, very quickly. I would say that.
Nice.
And then I moved on with the bass from there. So I started getting some few lessons from our manager, and I was also working hard on my own time. Remember, it's also self-taught all the time. So right now I can say 17 years down the line, and I'm still hitting it.
Wow.
That was back in 2007 when I joined Skinflint. It's like a journey of, I would say, the passion and persistence.
That's amazing. And one of the key things I'm glad you brought up when this started, because unfortunately, even though we have the internet and I think more worldwide communication, there's a little bit of geographic isolation with music from Botswana as far as what we would be hearing here in the United States. And you guys have been at this for almost 20 years. And so it's fascinating to hear now, wow, like you guys have been doing this for quite a long time. That's very interesting. The music that you play is very much, it's heavy metal, it's rock, it's kind of driving, but it is based on kind of African spirituality. Tell us a little bit about this music. How is this process? How do you guys come up with this music?
I would say that it's a long journey. So we started way back in the 2007. We experimented a lot of things, but we found out that you know what, we have a lot of rich content here in Africa, Botswana in particular. Then when you go outside, also you see that the rest of Africa, you know, there's this content that is not covered. You know, there are stories that have been told verbally when you're growing up. You know, we have them, they are in us, and they're not documented. You know, and then what can we do about this? You know, nobody is covering that. So we sat down one day with Giuseppe and say, you know what, we cannot be going or trying to sound like all these other guys who are in fact, yes, they inspire us. It's very good for them to inspire us. But what do we do now for our own self? Then we sat down and say, you know what, let's focus on this thing. We have this thing here in Africa. We can talk about it. We can write about it. We can sing about it. Nobody's doing it. And it was like a little corner that we found, and you know what, then we sat in that corner, and there's a lot coming out.
Yes.
There's a lot of movie coming out, there's a lot of stories coming out. All these things, we found that they are endless, and it's an opportunity for us that we are covering that kind of content. And then now when we start to put it in music, it kind of changes the way we sound, because it's I will consider it more authentic, more original. You know, even now, the way that we write the music, we sit down, three of us, the drummer, the guitarist, and the bass guitarist, all of us, we sit down in the studio, and we come up with little pieces of whatever inspired you, we put it together. Eventually, we have a song. That is the more organic way of doing music that we are doing with our bands, and it has lasted us for a very long time, and we are doing very well in it. And I think each and every time and each and every album comes out, you know, it's becoming even more better and better and better and better.
Nice. Well, and there's certainly a wealth of content there, because you guys have recorded around 8 albums, if not more. The latest, Baloy, just been released. Tell us a little bit about that project.
Yeah, like I already said, you know, this we usually choose a concept that for each and every album we try to choose a concept that we want to talk about. But if you look at other albums, that you know, some of the contents was focused in West Africa, you know, Central Africa there. But with Baloy, you know, Baloy, I will translate it to you that it means it's a Setswana name where we come from Botswana, so we speak a language called Setswana. So it's a Setswana name which refers to wishes. Witches. So I would say that the album right now, most of the stories are concentrated in our country. This is now the time that we're covering the stories that originate from within Botswana. You look at the song named Sangoma. Sangoma is something that is there in Africa. You know, I would say a traditional healer, which has got the dark side and also the good side. It can heal you, that traditional healer. It can also cast a spell in you. It can also do any other thing. But in that song, we captured the side of the darker side of it. And if you look at the video, you see that we have that guy with the dreadlocks, you know, he's performing some ritual on this other guy, small guy is jumping up and down, you know. So we are trying to depict that other side of the darker side of the Sangoma. So it is something that is there in Botswana. And then also there's another song that is called Lentswe La Baratani. If you look at the album, you see that one. And also we translated it to the Hill of Lovers or the Mountain of Lovers. So that hill is there in Botswana. And there's a story that happened so many years ago. We just hear the stories being told. And even now people still believe on that story, that there were 2 lovers who were forbidden to fall in love by the society. And then they ran to that hill and they never came back. That is the story that we had. So now everybody believes that now, you know, that hill is it possesses some magic powers.
Yeah.
Or some even say there's a snake that is living there, that if you go up the hill, it will eat you. Or so even recently, people disappeared on that hill, you know. So those are the other things that, you know, that are there. That are always. I'll give another example. You know, the stories that are there in Botswana. You know, some water bodies. You know, like dams and all. People also disappear in those dams. That is other size of the stories, like they are endless, like I was trying to tell you. So the album here was trying to capture most of the stories that were happening within our country. I think up to this level now, we wanted to represent our country and the content that is originated from a country. But with other albums, we also have the context or some of the stories that are happening in Africa as a whole.
Nice. Well, and I'm sure it's kind of interesting because I am not familiar with traditional music from Botswana, but your music is more metal. I'm pretty
Yes,
sure it isn't the traditional music from Botswana isn't heavy metal,
yeah.
but this interpretation, it's an updated version of these traditional stories and these concepts. So it's a very fascinating take. It would be a good time to talk a little bit about how you get your particular sound. What gear are you playing on?
Uh, I'm using a Fender Precision with active pickups. I think this one I got it from my manager. He was using it in his playing days. Now when he retired, he gave it to me. But initially I was using a Warwick. But currently now what I'm using is a Fender Precision bass guitar with active pickups. But the amp is a Redmere 750. Then the cab is just a Marshall cab. Just a Marshall cab. But the tune up is the one that is the trick. The trick comes from the tune. You can have the biggest sound, but if you don't know how to tune it, that's the problem. But I don't use any pedals.
Okay.
It's just then I play it with a pick. Then I drop the bass, the bass tune. I drop it very low, below half. And then I have the mids. I just set them a little bit, like can say up to half. But the thing that I put up is the treble. Then you hear that clicking sound from the bass. That is the tricky part of it. So if you don't have the right tune, you'll never get the right sound. I mean, even if you get the best guitars ever, you will never get the right sound. So the tune is the secret part of it that we are doing in the studio.
Very cool, very cool. And as we look ahead, I know you guys are in Florida, you're in the US playing, and you might be here for a little while. What are the plans for the future, short term and long term?
I think starting from 2019, when we started coming to the US, we always had a plan that, we want to play a lot here and eventually maybe settle around here. So that is a plan, even if it doesn't manifest now, is a plan that we are always looking ahead of. But currently, we are on our fourth tour. Yeah. So we just did the first half of it, and then we are on a break right now. We'll be getting back on the tour on Saturday. I think is the 2nd of November. Then we have like 8 more shows to play. We are trying to make contacts around, even though Soulfly, we are grateful for the guys for having us every time we come into the US. That once we invite us, but we are trying to make contacts. Try to make more friends. Have a lot of bands we know, because it's an opportunity. When you play with Soulfly, you tend to meet other big bands. So we're trying to get the contacts, So the ultimate plan is to come and play a very, very full tour here. I would say about 40 shows upwards there. So that is the ultimate plan. But currently, yes, we have what we have, and we are working hard on the tour, and we are giving our fans 100%. When we get back home, we're going to do some more shows, our local shows. And then hopefully next year, with the current tour here, we'll yield something out of it, Then we'll come back for a more serious one, like an upgrade. But every time, I think we are always adding, We started off with about 6 shows, now going up to 10, going up to 15, going up to 20, slowly. So we are looking for an ultimate full tour that can cover the whole of the years.
Nice. And if people want to know what you guys are doing, and if they want to know when you're coming for a tour, where's the best place for them to look? Skinflintmetal.com might be one. Tell us the others.
Yeah, skinflintmetal.com. We are on other platforms. Our Facebook page is the one that is highly active right now, but we realized when it came to US that, people are not using Facebook anymore here. But we're a bit stuck in the Facebook. That's where we are a lot active. But we also have Instagram. Yeah, YouTube also. We also put up our videos in YouTube. But the announcements come more on Facebook. On Facebook. But I think we'll try to add more platforms. I think we are learning every time, So you go to the part of the world, you find that this is a form of communication. You go to the other part of the world, you find that this is the other form of communication. So the times keep on changing. Maybe you should also shift to Twitter and try a lot of other things. So
Yes.
yeah.
Kebonye, we appreciate you taking time out of your schedule, taking a little time while you're having a nice break from the tour and all that, to talk to us, to share your story, and tell us about this very interesting music that Skinflint has been doing. I think a lot of people will become interested and want to know more about it, and maybe they will see you perform. So, folks, you've seen him here on Bass Musician Magazine. Kebonye Nkloso.
It's a pleasure for having me. But you also said my name correctly, like you are Muswan.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad I got it.
Thank you very much.